Fellow hobbyists, collectors, and Preheads alike, I want to welcome you back to my channel if you are a regular subscriber, but if you're new to this channel, my name is Glennon Taylor, and we take a look at anything underneath the Predator franchise, from action figures, comic book statues, prop replicas. And on today's video, I'm really super excited because I just received my CGC box, and I really didn't think it was going to be this much, but this is an 8 comic book stash that I had signed and graded by both Rick Leonardi, whom you may very well know from Spider-Man 2099. I also did 2 books from Simon Beasley. You may also recognize his work from Lobo. He basically does cover art, but he did Batman vs. Predator. He also did Motorhead #1, which is again in this box. So I'm also showing you what's really cool. I also have 2 Universal grades in this box. So let's see what grades we got. Okay, so as I said in the beginning of this video, I have 8 graded comic books from Dark Horse Comics, and I had to have that. I absolutely had to have it. I found it at, believe it or not, an at-home store, I think. It wasn't Hobby Lobby, but it was definitely an at-home store, and it was a giant chess piece, which reminded me of the Dark Horse Comics logo. So I definitely had to add that into my collection to complete everything that I have. So I think this definitely suits for today's video. So as I said, I have 8 graded comics, and the way that I have it in this box, I didn't look at all the grades because there are a few grades that were submissions. For example, I have Predator #2 that was signed by Sam De La Rosa, and I know there's about roughly 380 books that were submitted to CGC. I'll have to double check the census. And I think there's another special book in here that I think you'll find as well. So I'm going to look into the box, blindly grab what I think I can without looking at the grade, show you what the grade is, and see if we're pleasantly surprised. So let me see. Looking at anything. I forgot they throw the grade literally on every side of this book. Alright, so we have Batman vs. Predator, and this is the trade paperback. This is Batman vs. Predator 2 Blood Match, and this was signed by Simon Beasley. Again, he's the cover artist. 9.0 is not bad. I'll definitely take that in my grade. So yeah, can't complain at all. Usually a lot of people don't think they can grade trade paperbacks, but they can. And I think this was the only one that he did as a cover, and there you go. 9.0, can't knock that at all. I love anything higher to me, from a 9.0 to anything higher is what I would keep. Anything below that, I'd probably have to question it, depending upon, you know, if there's any spine ticks that break color, anything kind of finger bends. Finger bends tend to be the most common thing for graded comic books to get from normally a 9.8 to say a 9.4. And if you do remember my free comic book day video, which I will leave up here in the upper right hand corner, that came back to 9.4 because that had some spine ticks that broke color, and I should have been more visual, I guess, in my due diligence to submitting a better book. But in hindsight, it's 2020. I love that book, and I did get that free comic book day label attached to it. So let me see if I can't grab another one without giving away the grade. So I keep thinking I'm going to grab something else. All right, now I have to cover. What's this one? Oh, Motorhead. Okay, so they actually did do this by artists, so that's a good thing. So I'm covering both grades because I didn't think they were going to go do it the left and right. So let's see what we have for, this is Motorhead #1. I think this should be a good, decent grade. Maybe not a 9.8, but we'll see. 9.0. Alright, And I like that. The reason for that is because now I have 2 books from Simon Beasley at the same grade and a 9.0. So really loving that very much. Like it. I'll take it. And actually, that's kind of what I look for. I try to keep, if I get 1 grade from one artist, I try to keep them in the same grade, because if I have a 9.0 from one book that's done by the same artist that signed a different book, came back to 9.8, I'm like, well, now I kind of have to try to aim for that 9.8 just to keep them balanced. I don't know why. It's in with my own symmetry and my own head space to keep everything aligned, I guess. All right, let me see. All right, again, I'm not trying to hide. What do we got? All right, this is, okay. Aliens vs. Predator Annual. This is done by, yeah, I saw this. I saw the grade. Oh well. This is the annual one, signed by Jay Lee, who is the cover artist. This actually came back as a 6.0. That's disappointing. And I think, I probably know why. I can already tell. I probably should have submitted a better book. But there's definitely a huge dent, like right there. I don't know if you will see it or not. But there's a huge crack, and it goes from this side all the way to the back of the cover. So it definitely, for the length of the crack, definitely get it the 6.0. I have to double check the labels for the actual notes from the grader, but he signed at the very top, Jay Lee, on the AVP logo. So I'll try to see if I can aim for a much more higher grade. I'll definitely probably be giving this away to a friend of mine who doesn't have any graded comic books in their collection that collects Alien vs. Predator or Predator in general. And I also noticed too, whenever they have, this might just be a thick book, but it's not really secured. But a 6.0, it's not the worst thing in the world. So we'll keep going. Oh, if you can't see me, I'm sorry. I'm trying to grab without. Can't believe I have to do this with both hands. Okay, here we go. So Predator number 2, signed by Sam De La Rosa, and I didn't give it away. I'm curious what this one is, because this was, from what I gather out of my collection, this is probably be the best copy I have. I have multiple copies of these, and just because I'm curious how CGC grades their books. I don't have one in universal grade. This is my very first Predator 2 signed by Sam De La Rosa by CGC. So let me see what I have. Oh, 8.0. I do have an 8.0 that was signed by Mike Mignola, and it happens to be Alien vs. Predator 0, and I'll show that to you right now, actually, because I'm quite proud of it. So there's my 8.0. This was again signed by Mike Mignola, Hellboy creator, and he did the cover for Alien vs. Predator. I met him at Phoenix Comic Con. Super excited to have that in my collection. I know Mike Mignola doesn't do a lot of conventions anymore because he's doing a new Hellboy book that might change. I might actually, in this case, get a much more higher grade. But I'm very excited to have a Mike Mignola graded comic book in my collection. For Sam De La Rosa at an 8.0, I wasn't anticipating it being a 9.0 because this is a very old book. It came out in 1989, and I believe this is on the verge of being almost a 40-year-old book. So I do have other copies. I'll see if I can't get one better graded. All right, let me see. Again, without trying to show the grade, I don't know which one this one is. Alright, so we got Predator Jungle Tales. This is again done by artist Rick Leonardi, and very excited to have him as part of my current artist establishment. And I do have some really cool things that I have in my collection from Rick Leonardi. I'll show that to you probably in a future video. All right, let's see what grade we got. 9.0. All right, I'll take it. And this is again Jungle Tales. This is again one of those one-offs that is a no-numbered book because it only came out with one. The story itself is actually on one of Dark Horse Presents, and I forget which number it is, but this actually is 9.0. So we're very, very happy to have that in my collection. I'll definitely keep that. On. One last signature book, I believe, without hiding anything or giving the grade away. This should be the last one. Alright, this is the Alien vs. Predator 3 World War. This is also artwork done by Rick Leonardi. And I have, and I'm going to frame this, which is why I'm super excited about this book, is I have 2 pages from the Alien vs. Predator 3 World War storyline. And I have a page from issue number 1, and that was all penciled and again done by Rick Leonardi. And so I'm going to definitely frame this with my original artwork. I believe the page I have is page 24. It's the last page where Majiko Noguchi actually goes up alongside with the Colonial Marines to try to hunt down the supposed huge predators that are in that storyline. So let me see what I have for this one. 9.6. Alright, we're getting somewhere. Definitely a higher now grade. 9.6, autographed again by Rick Leonardi, and he signed right below the logo, which is always nice to see. Sorry about the glare. There you go. Right below the logo. 9.6. That I love. Now we're starting to get into much more higher grades. 8.0, like I said, 8.0 is not a make or break, but I just prefer possibly a 9.0 higher. Alright, these are the Universals. One is a convention exclusive. You'll have to excuse my daughter, she's actually having fun with her brother. But anyway, kids, I have 2 other books. One I'm super excited about. It's a convention exclusive. I'm not going to say what edition one it is, I'm going to show it. And the other one is from a kind of a one-off, but it is part of the Predator franchise. So let's see what we got. Yes. All right. This is the elusive Betty vs. Veronica vs. Predator, and this is the convention exclusive. So the reason this is to me a key is because there's only 500 copies of this ever been published. It was released back in 2015, and this was their very first foray into both Archie and Dark Horse doing a collaboration with each other for both Predator going up against Archie. And I love the story. It came out actually as a sequel, written by Alex DeCampi. Alex, thank you. I think you did an awesome job. Pencils done by Fernando Ruiz, and ink work done by Rich Klosowski. So the other reason I think this is a key is because, 2, you're not going to find this hardly ever if you can. I had 2 copies of these and it got stolen. I was able to get this copy back. I didn't get the one I wanted back. Anyway, long story short. So the other part is the key is the Phoenix Comic Con logo ended up changing because San Diego Comic Con had wanted a exclusive rights to the name Comic Con, and that's where Phoenix Comic Con came into play with that lawsuit. Phoenix Comic Con lost, San Diego Comic Con won, and now Phoenix Comic Con is no longer Phoenix Comic Con. It is actually considered Phoenix Fan Fusion now. So because of that, you'll see the Phoenix Comic Con logo in the bottom left-hand corner. Sorry for the glare. So that's changed, and because of this change, that's also making it a key. Because the logo is no longer in intellectual property, it's not even legally done anymore, and because, like I said, this is done 500 copies, it is again rare, and I'm hoping a high grade. Oh yeah, a 9.8. That is beautiful. That is very beautiful. A very expensive book, I might add. So because it's again from Phoenix Comic Con, and they changed their legal names, it's now Phoenix Fan Fusion, to have this in my collection this is very rare. And again, with CGC, there's only 8 ever been on the CGC census. So 3 of them have been signed, more likely I assume back in 2015, and 5 of them, including mine, come back as a 9.8. There's only 8 of them has ever been graded by CGC. I don't know about PGX or CBCS, but that definitely is something that I love very much. So a 9.8, very expensive book. I'd imagine more likely because it's a 9.8 and only 500 copies for this historical aspect of the Phoenix Comic Con logo, and it does have the 2015 on there, that this might fetch for perhaps anywhere between maybe $300 to $400, possibly $500, depending upon the fair market value. Not quite sure. My child. So super excited about having that in my collection, and I'm not selling that whatsoever. So let me see what that one is. Oh, come on. All right, this one, as I pretty much know what it'd be, is Sergeant Rock number 408. Long story short, I actually ended up having 4 issues of this. I thought I only had 3. Kind of find out I only have 4. I had 4 issues. 3 of them had the direct 50th anniversary logo on the bottom left-hand corner, and that's because it came out in February of 1986. That's when DC Comics was actually celebrating their 50th anniversary. And in this photograph, you're seeing that Shane Black did in fact have this comic book at the end credits scene of Predator in 1987. The film was actually produced in 1986. In other words, they started filming in that's right, I can't even talk. It was not Bella Arte, but it was in Mexico. And if you'll notice also in this photograph, that Jesse Ventura has a copy of Sergeant Rock number 408 in his hands reading it, and he has the direct edition in his hands, right beside Shane Black, where he's reading a copy of Sergeant Rock as well. So this right here is a newsstand edition. So this is the only newsstand edition I have in my collection. And there's only 2, no, not 2. There's only 2 grades that I think that might be decent for this one. And I had to have this one graded regardless of what it might be, because again, like I said, I only have 3 direct editions, which has the 50th anniversary logo, and then I have, this is my only one where it's the newsstand. So let's see what we have. 8.5. Alright, this is to be expected. I'm not going to knock it. It's a little bit much more of a mid-tier between an 8.0 to a 9.0. I knew that it was going to be one of the 2 that I saw in the census, because I saw one graded a 9.0. This one was graded as an 8.5. 8.5 I think is decent, considering that this one, out of the other ones that I have, there's actually no stains on the back. It's actually a very decent, glorious cover. As an 8.5, more likely there is possibly things wrong. I know there are things wrong with the pages inside of them. I bought 1 copy from all 4 sellers, and in every single issue, I don't know why, they have these tiny little pinholes in all of my books, and I don't know if that was from a manufacturing error or not, but I might possibly, I know I can't get that fixed. I know those are also in here too. I'll have to read the grader's notes about why I got an 8.5, but I think out of all of them, there were definitely lower grade ones as well, like 6, 5, but an 8.5, I'm not gonna knock it. But I do have now a beautiful Sergeant Rock number 408 in my collection, and I think this will go great alongside my Richard Hawkins action figure that I did a review on, and I'll leave that video up here in the right hand corner. So I think to have that be framed or sitting beside the Rich Hawkins figure is pretty decently doped. Very happy about that. So overall, very kind of sad about the Alien vs. Predator Annual at a 6.0. That's my lowest grade out of this stash. I'm not going to be upset about it, because I kind of should have looked at it better with that huge crack going from the front cover all the way down to the back. It was a very long crack that broke color. But overall, I think with an 8.0, an 8.5, my biggest one that I've ever actually thought I probably wouldn't get. 9.8 on the convention exclusive. Definitely keeping most of them. Definitely getting rid of the 6.0. I'll have to try again next time whenever J Lee gets into town for another convention. See if I can't get a better, me actually focusing on the book's condition to getting possibly a 9.0 or higher. But I want to hear from you. Leave me down in the comments section about which books you like at this current grade. Do you believe whether or not, based on the values of each one, should I keep some of them? And if so, which grades I should keep, which ones I should go ahead and sell off as is. But I'm definitely going to keep the 9.8 Sergeant Rock and all the other 9.0s and higher. Definitely guessing maybe the 9.0 will be sought after higher from San Devil Rosa. If I get something higher, I'll sell the 8.0 or give it away to a friend of mine. But yeah, leave me a comment down in the section of what kind of comic books that you have graded in your Predator collection, especially the Dark Horse comics. And of course, you'll probably notice I have a few other comic book, sorry, lost my balance there. I have a lot of stuff to show you guys, so hope you enjoy this video. And if you are in fact, how many comic books you have in your collection for Predator, leave them down in the comment section. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, I'll also put on a poll of what my next video might be. I'll leave it up to you. But I want to thank you for watching this video, and as always, happy hunting.